Hello, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to use a formula to mass insert your unit assessment data into your Growth Across Units tool rather than hand typing in each individual student's score. So using this formula, it's best if you have principal level access. In other words, that means if you have this quick view button and you have access to data across the entire grade level or campus. But if you are only a teacher of record and you only have access to your particular class, you can also do that as well. You're just going to have to be a little bit more careful, and I'll show you what that looks like. If you are a teacher of record and you don't have that quick view button, make sure you drill down into your students as all my students, just to make sure you grab all of your students' data at one time. Otherwise, we're going to start drilling down to the assessment in this principal level view, starting with quick views, and then drill down into your particular assessment. Now, if you are a campus or a teacher of record who has students taking both English and Spanish tests, I'm going to show you also how to be able to combine both of those tests, language tests, in one view. Teachers of record, your scores open up automatically on the student summaries sheet. If you are going in as principal, though, you're going to need to make sure you click over here on the individual students. Right? So now what I'm going to do is I am going in as a dual language campus, and I'm going to combine the English and the Spanish scores. All teachers of record can do this as well, so let's click on the edit button. And on this test tab, I'm going to open up under the DEUAs, and I'm going to find the Spanish counterpart to this assessment. And I just click it and drag it over. It doesn't matter if it's on top or bottom. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the bottom, and I'm going to click this check mark in the box. You may not have as many options when you click on this drop down menu, but you're going to all click on with subject results. And then we're going to click update. Afterwards, I'm going to export this to Excel. When it opens up in the bottom left hand corner, click on it. And let's make sure we click enable editing. Alright, so in order to use the formula, I'm going to need two fields. I need the student's ID number, and I'm going to need their overall score. So I'm just going to delete these other columns in order to get those two fields right next to each other. So I'm just going to delete. Okay, so now I'm going to select all of my information. Control C to copy. Then let's open up your data tracking sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the scores tab. I'm not actually going to hand type it or paste it over here on my actual subject sheet. I'm going to come to my scores tab, and then I'm going to come up to my local ID field, and I'm going to Control V to paste in all of my data. Right, now once I get the data in here, I need to use this formula and copy paste that into the actual column for the percent score. So what I'm going to do is I put my cursor, I selected this cell, I'm going to select this entire formula, Control C again to copy. Now let's go tell it where I want to put all of this data. So I'm coming over here to my grade 3 math tab, and I'm going to find my unit 4 test, since that's the one that I was doing. Let's make sure that we scroll all the way up to make sure I was already at the very top, but always just make sure you scroll all the way up and get to the right spot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor in that top score. Make sure it's not under the enter score. It's telling you to put it over here. You need to type the equal sign and paste that formula and press enter. That will auto-populate the performance level. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up here. So because I already had some data down here, if I just double click on that corner, it's just going to stop there. So really what I want to make sure I do is I go, see how it's not populating down here. I just want to make sure that I drag it all the way down to the bottom. And then it will fill in all of that data. Now, if I was only doing this for my class, then you just need to make sure that you get, and you just drag the data down, and you only get it for your particular students. There are two absolutely essential steps that you must do before you're finished with this task. What you need to do is, while your data is all still selected, so all the way from the top to the bottom, if you notice, I'm in this cell right here, and you can see that it's not the actual number, it's a formula. I don't want that formula to be there, to stay there, because anytime anybody else pastes any new data here, it's going to mess up my scores over here on this Unit 4 test. So what I want to do is I want to, again, while all of my data in that % column is selected, I want to copy it. I just did a Control-C, and this time I'm going to right-click, do not paste, right-click, paste special, values only. Now it removed that formula, and you'll notice when I click on each of these cells, it's only showing the actual value. So that's the first most essential thing you have to do after you insert your scores. Then we're going to come back to my Scores tab. I'm going to select all of that data that I pasted in, leave the local ID and % score, and I'm just going to delete it. That way the next person that comes in to use this Scores tab, they have a clean slate and they don't have any of my data still in there. Just know that if you forgot to do that copy paste values, and you come over here and you delete this data, and you come back to your grade level tab, then all of these scores would disappear. So if any of your scores are disappearing and you're reusing that formula, it's likely because you didn't copy paste values.